No.
Fantastic. There's going to be a 20-second delay, I think, anyway. So there we go. We're on. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is, bear with us. This is the first time we're trying something like this. We've got a bunch of leaders from around the country that we're just going to get together in these unprecedented times and kind of talk about what we're doing with our companies and try help you with what you're doing with your companies. And we've got, so in the top corner here, we've got Larry Cossio from Cossio Insurance. I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves in a second. We've got Nathan from Epic Party Team or AZ Bounce Pro, and then Steve Gray from I2K Inflatables and the Funco. So Larry, if you want to take us away and introduce yourself.
Larry Cossio, Cossio Insurance. I've been doing this 40 years. We insure the party equipment rental world, the indoor centers, and about 53 other business types. Here today to kind of share the pluses and what we can look forward to in the future and answer questions.
Fantastic. Nate, take it away.
I'm Nate Jaehnig, own AZ Bounce Pro and Epic Party Team in Phoenix. Been doing this for 12 years, grew up in the industry my whole life. Seen a lot. Started this in 2008 during the housing crash. And so, excited to see what the future holds. We'll see.
Steve.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Steve Gray, I2K Inflatables, and my wife Roxanne and I also in the Fun Company. We started both companies back in 1993, so we have a little bit of knowledge that hopefully we can share with everyone and explore opportunities out there and see how we can all help each other through this crisis.
Great stuff. And for those that don't know who I am, Mike Wincup from Galaxy Multi-Rides. I've been doing this as old as I could walk. We've done party rentals. We've run indoor FEC centers, and we manufacture mechanical action games and giant inflatable parks. So now that everybody knows each other, I want to encourage all of you watching to start thinking of any questions that you may have at the end for any of us, or even suggestions and things that you want to input. And if you put it below in the comments, then towards the end of this, at the moment, we have no idea how long we're going to talk for, but at the end, we're going to do a question and answer session and see where we go from there. But first off, I guess we kind of address and talk about what's happened of the virus and how it's affected so many, it's rocked the event rental business and indoor play. Obviously, it's affected everyone, but this is our little market sector. And I guess, Steve, do you want to start? And, how's rentals and, both sides of it as a rental operator and a manufacturer?
Yeah, sure, Mike. So as probably all of you, about 100%, if not maybe 99% of all events have canceled. We are running a promotion, like a party package, where we'll drop off, say, a jumper, cotton candy, maybe a giant Jenga, something like that. So we're working on some promotions like that. We just started them, I think, Monday or Tuesday. If anyone's interested, you can private message me or email me, and we can share some of those ideas. A few people have taken advantage of it, but suffice it to say, everything is at a complete standstill. There are no events. And in terms of I2K sales, we're pretty much just finalizing equipment that was purchased at IAPA. The guys are working today, putting in a full day. And then we're going to be shutting down until April 11th. Our governor here in California mandated that all industries, all companies close unless it's essential, or a grocery store, a pharmacy, dry cleaner. I know that's very important to all of you. And so we'll be shutting the doors today, and we won't open until April 11th or otherwise. And so everything is just kind of at a standstill. If there's anything super important, then we can always bring in staff, but we'll all be, we can, I guess, pay them to come in.
Yeah, so from a manufacturing and operational point of view, if the governor says you've all got to go home, it's literally stopped you in your tracks.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly right, Mike. We're completely stopped in our tracks. And if there's something super important or emergency, we all have our emails and
yeah, exactly. I mean,
phones and cell phones and all that. So we're there to help wherever we can. And especially when we get into some of those assistance programs, we'll talk more about that.
mm-hmm.
And I'm sure some of you guys have a lot of information on that we can share with folks out there who may not know what programs are available to them.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get onto that a bit once we get a lay of the land. Nate, obviously you're a huge, both in terms of small events and huge corporate events operator. How have things been for you? I know we've chatted and it's been a bit rough. Well, it's been very rough. I don't want to downplay it, but let's hear you.
Yeah, I mean, it's complete standstill. Everything pretty much canceled, delayed, postponed. A lot of uncertainty. We deal with a lot of planners, a lot of hotels, resorts, things like that. They're all in the same boat, laying off every single person. Companies are already going out of business. We're fortunate. We have a lot of good relationships with people locally here, with people who are planners, who are in the industry. So, they're pushing hard to sell, their clients to then in turn book our stuff again, which helps a lot, because they're just as motivated to sell as we are. I mean, yeah, we'll be down 80%, 90% in March.
Wow.
Probably April too, which is typically like 2 of our best months of the year. So we go right into summer, which is usually our slowest time. So I'm hoping that maybe, summertime could be better than it usually is. Hopefully, if this virus thing gets figured out and handled.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not mandated to stay at home yet in Arizona. But I'm sure it's coming.
Same here. We're I'm at work right now, and we've still got guys working. And I guess this is Florida, and everyone jokes about us, but they're not even shutting the beaches until tomorrow. So, it's just California. I think it's just going to sweep across from the west in a wave of states shutting down, which I guess is important. But we'll get onto that in terms of impacts on business. Larry, what have you seen in terms of the insurance side of it and the kind of calls and experiences you've been getting?
It's mainly fear. What are they going to do? How are they going to make payments when nothing's coming in? But the customer base is obviously in limbo because each state operates differently. I imagine the majority of them are going to follow California's lead. They usually do. California finally came out with Department of Insurance, said, okay, work with the customers, do not cancel their policy, find a way to extend it or postpone it. We've had, I think, 6 states come in this morning. We had 2 yesterday with the Department of Insurance coming in saying, okay, same thing for our states. So I would imagine by Monday, we're probably going to have all 50 states saying, try not to cancel the policies, work on it. If it's not financed, it's easier. If it's financed and you have a finance company involved, the finance company actually holds the premiums. The insurance company doesn't. So there's gray area there. They're trying to get clarity. They've been working on that with us for 2 weeks. All the carriers we work with for 2 weeks, trying to figure out how they're going to do it, how they're going to handle cancellations, postponements. Their accounting system's not set up to do it, so they have to figure out how they're going to do that. The brokerage houses have to send the money back to the carriers. They don't know how they're going to do that. So this is just territory nobody's walked in before. It's not like a natural disaster like what we had with 9/11. There is talk of putting together a program for infectious disease to remove the exclusions and let you buy it. Similar to what you have with terrorism coverage. They're looking at trying to backdate it to March 3rd, which would bankrupt most of the carriers.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't do that, because that'll screw up the insurance industry worse. I think everybody
Double tap it
comes
twice
back.
in your ear.
Everything that I'm seeing, we have 2 event planner associations that asked me to do webinars next week and the week after. They're trying to figure out what to do for the future stuff, with people rebooking special event policies, weddings. We still have people getting insurance for their rental companies. Shocking. I don't know why. Told them probably don't need to do that right now. Just
Right.
wait. They have people that want units, so they want to be able to be insured. It's a real fluid issue in the insurance industry right now, with all the different insurance companies. They all operate differently, if they're admitted or non-admitted, what they can.
Okay.
They're in a box. So it's scary. We don't know where it's going to go. March and April are our 2 biggest months, and we're like 2%. So it affects us too, guys.
Yeah, well, I think that's important for a lot of companies to realize that in the insurance industry, you guys make your money from selling policies, and you get a commission on that. And when those policies get cancelled, it's twofold impact on you. You know, those have got to be clawed back, and you've got to pay back those, you know, your profit of what you've sold, and potentially we can collapse the program. And if the program's not there for when things get better, then people aren't going to have insurance. So it's a tightrope for sure, because, you know, we all realize, and we're all in the same boat, and we're all in this together, that we're trying to cut costs and save money where we can, but we've got to be really smart about this so that we don't hurt ourselves down the line. And with that being said, you know, things are going to get better. No, not to downplay this at all, because we are all extremely hurting as a manufacturer, and, you know, the whole sector is going to hurt. So what are some things that people could be doing, or what have you guys been doing to mitigate damage and risk? And, you know, feel free, anybody, just to jump in.
We had to lay off subcontractors that we had. There was 8. That was a painful day. I have never in 40 years laid anyone off. We cut back hours once in 2004 when we had issues with the insurance industry. But I think that cost measures, you know, we've cut back all non-essential services for the building. Everybody's working from home. So, you know, the cleaning services, the janitorial services, the landscape services, all that stuff is pretty much said, hey guys, if you come, it's going to be once a month. And I would imagine you guys, California, you're shut down completely. They can't show up. All our staff is working from home. So saved a lot of money on toilet paper, 20 women. That's the bright side. That's the only bright side I have right now for you guys.
Right. What about you, Nate? How's, you know, obviously massive impact in terms of the amount of deliveries and things, but what are some steps you've taken to try soften the blow?
You know, unfortunately, we had to furlough 45, 50 people,
Wow.
like all in one day. You know, our office staff, we've, you know, had to cut back some there, have gone to staggered schedules. We've called every, you know, we're fortunate enough to own our building, so we've called the mortgage company for the building. They're basically, you know, 6-month deferment. I mean, so, you know, work that out there. You know, anything we have, you know, leases on, a payment on, anything like that, they've all deferred payments. Everybody's in the same boat. I mean, they're getting flooded with calls. So if you haven't done that, I'd do it now, because you're lucky to get through. I mean, even your personal mortgage, they'll do it. Everything, they'll do it. I mean, you just tell them this is what you need. Not, you know, it's not a pretty please. It's, you know, this is serious, and they all get it. I mean, as the days have gone on, every single thing's gotten more and more serious by orders of multiple magnitudes. So, I mean, you know, at first it was kind of like, oh, well, let's just see, let's play it out. You know, I don't know, but now it's, yeah, we've got a program for that. You know, a lot of the big guys, you know, are on the forefront. You know, you see advertisements, U.S. Bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Some of the regional banks maybe don't see it as much, but we'll see. I mean, if you've got, it's a good time to have savings, good time to have cash on hand. It's a good time to have credit lines and
Right. So I guess the message there is that, even if you're just renting a property, you speak to your landlord, you speak to your mortgage company, you try offset and keep your cash flow going for as long as you can, and to cut those costs. Unfortunately, and we've seen it across all our interactions with other people in the industry, that we've at some point had to lay somebody off or cut down hours or warn them of this.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess the number one thing is, there's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be embarrassed about, nothing to be, like, oh, why is this happening to me? Because, I have a lot of friends locally, by me, they own restaurants, they own service companies, whatever it is. Every single person is affected by this. I mean, this is not a sector issue. This is not an industry issue. This is a humanity worldwide issue that, I mean, it sucks.
And by laying off those staff, you need to ensure that your business is there for when it comes back, that they potentially can come back. There's, like you said, I think we all feel as business owners and people, employers, that we have a responsibility to our employees, but we also have a responsibility to our business, and that it keeps going, because if that goes away, then there's definitely going to be no jobs to come back to. It's about making difficult but right decisions. Steve, I guess it's been taken out of your hands because you've been shut down as a state, but is there anything else or any programs that you know of, or what's?
Yeah, a couple things, Mike. So we did mass layoffs today, and everyone's getting their last check as well as their vacation pay. And everyone has at least a week or two, so that'll help soften the blow a little bit. Also encourage you to call your auto insurance. What we did is I think they call it storage mode. We basically took all of our rental vehicles and put them on like storage mode, so we're just paying comp. And you can keep one or two or more trucks available that still have full coverage if you think you may have an event here or there, or you need the vehicle. So that can save big money. I think we're already saving at least 75% or something on that. And as Nate mentioned, Chase reached out to me immediately, and we're getting a 90-day deferral on our mortgage of our building. And we're doing the same with our home. Everywhere that we can, we called American Express. They have a 60-day deferral program, so no payments for 60 days. My other project today is call my Visa, MasterCard, Home Depot cards. I think they're all going to follow suit. I think, the government's really going to come to the table, and they may not bail us out directly, which I'll get into that in a minute, but I think they're going to bail out those big companies in the healthcare and probably insurance. So they'll get some reprieve after time. But in the meantime, take advantage of everything that you can, and just, I don't know, it may sound like I have rose-colored glasses on, but look at this as an opportunity to just pause, catch your breath, recalibrate, work on your marketing, all that sort of thing. And just get all your ducks in a row so that you're not paying much out of pocket. And like I said, you're literally hitting the pause button on life right now. Yeah. And if you don't have much expenses going out, then we'll all be able to survive this. The employees will take a little bit more of a beating because they won't get their full 100% pay. But at the same time, they're staying home healthy. They're going to spend time with their family. And it's a proven fact, employees prefer more time off, more time with their family than they do money. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a little bit of a win for some. I think it depends how you look at it, have a positive attitude and outlook on it. But, there's nothing we could do about it. These things, happen every once in a while, every, 20 years or something.
Yeah, well, I can't think, nobody has been fully prepared for this because, you can't anticipate, maybe apart from an insurance guy has been, every worst case scenario, Larry, but nobody, has the cash reserves on hand, to maintain the standard rate with zero income. And from our own experience, we pay our guys a week in lieu anyway. So when they first start with us, they don't get their paycheck until the week after. So they've still got their paychecks coming for at least another couple of weeks. We haven't been shut down yet. In the same breath, and I think it's the same for most of us as in manufacturers, zero money coming in, absolutely zero. So for us, it's been a similar thing about managing costs, looking at where we can get help, and taking the time. If we're not selling and we're not dealing with customers, then working on our business. I mean, certainly as my role as in terms of marketing here at Galaxy, I have probably been working longer and harder than I already do. I've had a lot more to do. And I encourage anybody, from a small mom and pop shop with 5 or 6 inflatables through to somebody the size of Nate, or an indoor center, to get creative, use this time to think, how do I reach out and engage with my customers? When I was driving into the office today, if you've got the time, is it worth calling your database, checking in, being that local community support, seeing how the health is and that they're doing the right thing and self-isolating, and are the kids okay, and that kind of thing. It might be a 2-minute call, but they'll remember that forever. And I think in our digital age, we've kind of lost the art of, the connection of the phone call. I think it's important, and real life voices. And with all the systems that we have in place, whatever software you're using, you're going to know details about your customers. So, use that to your advantage.
Yeah. Mike, let me add one more thing.
Sure.
There's I just sent it in the chat. I don't know if that's public though. You might want to repost that in public. There's disaster loan assistance programs. It's federal disaster loans for businesses, profit, nonprofit, homeowners, renters. So there's all sorts of programs. I spent the better part of the last day or two filling all of this out for our companies. And I don't know exactly what they're going to give you yet. We've heard all these different things. There's, we've heard 0 to super low % interest rate loans. The other thing is some of us have heard that the government may give us, I don't know exactly. It could be 25 grand. It could be, it could be more, it could be less. So we have several companies, and I listed every one of them. Even if they were LLCs that I don't use, I listed them. And again, I don't know what I'll get out of that, or if you have to prove that you're having an economic downturn or whatever. But I would encourage you all to go to that, even if you're a renter, because you figure if that homeowner, the person who owns your home or apartment that you're renting, they're going to get reprieve from their bank. So in essence, I think you'll be able to go rent. I wouldn't say rent free, but
sure,
it would be a delayed. I mean, don't spend the money, because there's a good chance in 90 days they're going to say, okay, well, now you owe me 3 months. So I don't have all the details of that, but if you click that link that I sent.
Yeah, I've just posted the link to the top of the chat so everyone can see it there.
Okay, good. And that's going to be a biggie for all of you guys, because we're in an industry where you can prove that your sales have completely plummeted, and we're going into the busy season. So I would get on that today, because the more people hear about it, the more the word's going to get out, and they're going to get bogged down. And I got a personal call from the SBA last night. I work with them quite a bit, and there's other programs also. So what we'll do is somehow, if we continue doing this weekly or monthly or whatever, I and everyone else can share those ideas or those links to those government programs, and hopefully, this will help a lot of you out there that are either struggling now or maybe struggling in the next couple of weeks or months.
Right. And the idea is that if people do like this and they're getting value from us talking and sharing the resources and us all pulling together. We'll try to do this as often as possible. And I think a key message from that is that this is the time where we all stick together. I know that we all have competition and local competition, but it's the time to work with your competition. I'm in a strong opinion. I don't know how it's going to work with the events, because obviously we've all had events that have been cancelled and then they're never coming back. Big events like South by Southwest and things like that for huge corporate events. But for those that are watching that are doing FECs or indoor, there's going to be a huge bounce back on the back end of this. People are going to want to get out of the house. They were going to take their kids somewhere, zoos, aquariums, bowling centers, restaurants, bars, trampoline parks, that kind of thing. And by extension, people throwing parties at home or doing, corporate events, it is going to come back in a big way. But it's just making sure that we all get there. And this is the time to really stick together. I wasn't going to dip into the comments yet until the end, but Kevin Waging has asked, is it worth cutting price if not profitable? I'm afraid to establish a low price point, and if the equipment wear and tear ruins equipment, I'm concerned. Should I just shut down and wait? So what's Nate, do you want to offer any feedback on that one before we all jump in?
We've done promotions and stuff that we wouldn't normally do and all that, but just to keep the wheels greased a little bit. I mean, I've still got guys that want to work. We've got some of our main warehouse guys that we will not get rid of, and they'll be doing deliveries and things like that. It's a good opportunity to get all the equipment out, get it all cleaned up, inspected, everything like that. But when it comes right down to it, you got to do what you got to do to stay alive.
I'm with that.
I'm not going to sit in my bed and cry. So, that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you have to be serious about it. I mean, like guys talking about, oh, I'll never do this, I'll never do that, I'll never price it at this. And you got to suck up your pride and just, if you can make money doing it, do it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So, it sucks not to be doing the big fancy corporate events and to be doing, the things that, we've all become accustomed to doing over the past several years, but it is what it is. I'm just hoping, and I do think that in the long run, we come out of this thing, the parties could be bigger than ever, the budgets could be bigger than ever. You never know. I mean, people thought we would never recover from 9/11, never recover from the housing crisis, never recover from, Obama, recover from Trump, recover from everything's death. So, it's gonna come back. It'll be fine.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, we don't have a rental company anymore, but we did it for many, many, many years. And if there is an opportunity to get cash flow in, I think that is the key thing to all of this, is that we're going to maintain cash flow, and that you're just got to keep moving forward, because if we stop, it's going to be really difficult to regain that momentum. He does go on to say, let's avoid a race to the bottom to gain unsustainable business. Especially during the business turnaround, we don't want to lowball pricing, wait and restart business to sustainable. Times are tough. I think there's a balancing point between that. I mean, we don't want to race to the bottom and go super cheap, but equally we need to survive. What you get? Well, it's hard now to get from where we started, Steve, at the beginning of the week when we were planning this, to you being shut down. Your strategies, I guess, have changed in a heartbeat, really. With events can't happen, so unless you start declaring yourself as a dry cleaner and you're just delivering big, bouncy dry cleaning items.
I think that's what we're going to do. Start a dry cleaning chain. I'm sure Governor Newsom has a chain of 50 or so. I think, who was it, Judd or Kevin? Someone posted something here, but you know, I think we all need to kind of look at the bright side. And like I said, it's like we were given this big pause button, and you know, I think it's a time to really shape up our marketing and work on our websites and our social media. I know I'm guilty of that. We haven't done any social media in months, and I just feel like I'm so busy every day I can't catch up. So for me personally, yeah, we're going to struggle a little bit. It's going to be difficult, but we got to all be prepared, because I think people are going to want to party. I mean, they're going to be stir crazy, and they're going to want to get out, have events, have fun. Someone mentioned, is corporate going to come back? I think corporate's going to come back with vengeance. Again, I'm looking at this as more of a positive, and I think the balance of the year is going to be pretty kick-ass, provided a lot of those companies didn't see too much of a negative decline in revenues, where they won't have the money for it. But I mean, you know, we got a lot of backyard people in this business. I don't see the backyard party going away. So I think, you know, nationally, internationally, universally, we just need to stay resilient, stay strong, be positive, and just know this is going to blow over. I believe it's going to go away as quickly as it came. And again, I may have my rose-colored glasses on still, but that's what I think. So again, we just need to hang in there and help where we can.
Yeah, I know you're not taking bounce houses out, Larry, unless you've all been lying to us all these years. But have you got any advice for folks regarding their insurance, whether they're not whether they're customers of yours or not?
There's a couple things you can do. They've been mentioning it. If you have a leased vehicle, they won't let you take the liability off. But if it's just financed and you're not using it, you can keep comprehensive coverage only. That's fire, theft, and vandalism. That'll keep the banks require that you have collision and comprehensive on it if it's financed. So be wary what you're doing when you're trying to remove coverages. Don't cross that line. Workers' comp. All the workers' comp carriers that we've talked to said that they're willing to do an adjustment due to everybody being shut down 2 to 3 months. So that's going to be able to help for the future stuff. Some of the carriers are interested in giving you a credit at the end of the year when they give you an audit. Some of them are looking at midterm adjustments. They're just trying to work through that, how to do it. If your premiums are financed, there are some finance companies allowing you to postpone your payment 30 days, 60 days before they cancel the policy. Some people want to cancel right away. It depends on everybody's individual situation. Call and talk to your insurance agent, talk to your premium finance company. Some people that are in buildings, or all the landlord requires you still to have liability insurance. You don't have to have property coverage on some leases. Some leases require that you have it, so maybe renegotiate that and just purchase trip and fall insurance. It's called owner's landlord tenant. It's the minimum premium is like $500 a year.
So I guess the main thing that we're taking from this is we need to communicate. You need to get in touch with the people that you deal with, whether that be people that you give money to or people that you know, your customers that you take money from. There's a lot of people at home at the moment not doing anything, or extremely stressed with, you know, I don't have any children, but, you know, kids running around and keeping them entertained because they're oblivious to what's going on. So I think this is a great time to find some space for yourself. And it's not nice being on hold for a long time, but it's naturally going to happen. So I think I think that's the big thing from this, is that communication on how you communicate to your customers, how you communicate to your staff, and you know, we're all in this together. There was a question here from Stuart Pennell. Does deferring any payments affect your credit rating?
No,
shouldn't do. I know that
as long as you're up to date right now. You know, if you're already in default, that's you know, that's a little bit more of a sticky situation. Right. But it won't affect credit. And even if you're in, I think it was yesterday, I heard Trump say, even people who are in default. So if any of y'all are bankruptcy or default, you can stay in your home. So that's another tidbit.
That's what I've read as well, that what they're proposing is just going to be a giant pause. There's going to be no negative credit posting. That there's a bunch of different measures that they're trying to push through. Desperately trying to stay away from politics in this chat. But the more, last week I said internally to my team here that the next 3 weeks is going to really tell us a lot about how the rest of the year is going to go. And we're a week into it, and all this is developing on an hourly basis. So we are going to see things change and news come out. And as we do, we'll try to let you all know. There's a second question from Stuart here. Are you concerned that all this social distancing that's in place for a long period of time is going to have a lasting effect with no more events of more than 10 people? What I think he means is, are we going to feel a residual effect of, we've been so conditioned not to touch, shake hands, even see somebody without turning into a zombie? Is this going to knock on for future events?
Yeah.
Well, there's a new rental item, the hand sanitizer stands, right?
Right.
People don't wash their hands enough as it is. I'm telling you, people are sick and pathetic. I mean, you know how many times I walk into a men's room and you can see guys not washing their hands? It's completely disgusting. And women are probably the same way. Right. So maybe this is a wake-up call. People need to be a little more clean.
Yeah. I wasn't going to share this story, but my mother is a local supermarket called Publix here in Florida, and she went to the bathroom and she saw a woman go to the bathroom and walk out without washing her hands. And my mum stopped her and said, "Are you forgetting something?" and pointing to the sink. And she says, "Oh no, I used a wipe at the front door, so I'm fine."
Oh boy.
So we're all screwed in that sense. But my take on that is that this is going to be a bit of a societal reset for us all. We're all going to think more about hygiene. We're all going to think about how we interact with people. And in the short term, yes, I think the idea of being in large groups, I'm going to contradict myself immediately, because as soon as the bars and the clubs open and the sporting events, people are going to flock back there. These ballparks are going to be packed. Movie theaters are going to be packed. So I don't see why that would be the same with your events. I can see both sides of it, but I really think that people are going to want to live their lives, because this is highlighted that, we're not here for a long time, so let's be here for a good time kind of thing.
I mean, people being locked up with their kids for 2-3 weeks, they are going to want to do nothing more than go out and party. I mean, I do think, though, that, what we have to be careful of is that, there could be a second wave of this in the fall. And, we start, getting a few, oh, there's a case here. Oh, there's a case here. Oh, no, there's 30 in whatever random city. It could have a ripple effect. I mean, just like, after 9/11, oh, there's this guy went and, stabbed a bunch of people, and it's terrorism, and, everyone got super patriotic, and everyone was, all USA, and that eventually wore off too. So, I mean, people will be scared for a while, I'm sure, but the biggest thing with these pandemics is you get a second wave, and there could be a big problem. Yeah.
The interesting, I only came across this comment today from Tonya Harbour from Astro Events, Northwest Atlanta. After IAPA in November, her daughter suddenly became sick, scratchy throat, high fever, all the symptoms of coronavirus. Obviously, they weren't testing for it. And I was exactly the same. The week after IAPA, I fly around the world. My immune system, I'm exposed on planes doing 12, 15 trips a year globally. I got knocked, on my backside straight after IAPA. Again, fever, scratchy cough. So I wonder if it has already, because it popped up in the Far East in November. So maybe it was already here and we don't know. But you're right. We might be facing a second wave. But again, I think as an industry and as with your corporations and your companies projecting positivity that this is life. You know, we're taking all the right precautions now and self-isolating. Well, hopefully, I know the message still doesn't seem to be getting across in the US as it is in other parts of the world.
I don't know. I mean, I've been in the special event industry my entire life. My grandparents started a business in 1972. You know, my dad's been in it for 45 years. The people who are in this industry are, you know, we're not, it's not like we're warriors, we're not soldiers or anything like that, but we deal with late nights. We work when other people aren't. We're working when people are partying. We're a resilient bunch. I mean, you know, we band together.
Amen.
Saw a quote that said something like, you know, if we can pull off a festival with 30,000 people with 2 golf carts and some duct tape, we can definitely get through coronavirus, you know? So,
Right.
I mean, you know, we'll all figure it out. It's, it just sucks really, really, really bad right now. And, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, we're a tough industry. I know our industry is based off fun, but you know, there's not many. You know, how hard we work, both physically and mentally. And we've been through, like you said, you know, we've been manufacturing for 30 years, and we were a rental company 7 years before that, and we've been through multiple recessions. I mean, as a company, we moved to the US September 1st, 2008. 5 weeks before the crash, and it was the best thing we ever did, because when times are tough, people want to forget about it and people want to have a good time, and we need to remember that. And that's what our job is to provide those good times and provide those memories. And I think that's a positive marketing message that we've got to, you know.
I think the one thing that we need to clarify too is like this. I mean, we probably will go into recession because of this, but this right here, right now, is not a recession. This is a social lockdown, keep away. Because even, I mean, I started in 08. You know, even during the recession, people were still doing parties and still getting together to celebrate things. I mean, people will still be getting married. People will still be celebrating birthdays. We're going to have a crap load of births 9 months from now. So there's brand new customers being born. You know, so this is not a recession. This is not a depression. It could end up being that, but this is a very unique thing that we may never, ever, ever see again in our lifetime. You know, Steve's going to live to be 150, so he'll see it again. But you know, this is very, very unique. I mean, you know, talking to people who have been in this industry a long time, this is unbelievably unprecedented. So
right. Yeah, I think we can all get on board with that, and it's a case of that we just get through it. So communication, maintain your cash flow as much as you can, speak to the people around you, your family, your staff, your customers, and just stay connected and be present, because when this does, you know, bounce back, you got to be right in front of their face to say, look, you know, the kid's birthday that was locked up, and she, you know, your child that she couldn't understand why she couldn't go outside, or, you know, why her friends couldn't come around. All of a sudden, there's going to be an opportunity for a belated birthday party there. So let me just check the questions to see if anything else has come in, because we've been going on now for 43 minutes, guys. So Gary Pincus there, sanitizing the rides is even more important. It is. Again, it comes down to communication, that you are doing so. I'd hope that we were all doing that already. I mean, certainly in inflatables and hard rides, they're extremely easy to clean and hygienic already. So
let me add something there, because we've been getting calls on that. There's a company that exhibits at the IATP, the Trampoline Park Show. And they actually sell like a fogger with disinfectant. And I'm sure you could go use whatever you wanted, but that's one thing we thought about implementing, is where we actually fog down all the stuff when we're cleaning it, and maybe even doing it in front of the client, you know, at the beginning of their event or during setup. So I called Bethany to get that contact, and I think she sent it to me yesterday. But if anyone,
I know who you're talking
interested
about.
In that,
yeah, we're due to install a new inflatable park in New York at the Castle Fun Center. And my contact there asked me exactly about that. So if you give me a second, I can get those details for you straight away. Here it is, somewhere in this email. And it basically looks like a bug fogger for those that have used one of them. And it's a disinfectant. I think it's called Sorry about this. You sprung this one on me, Steve.
Let's see, I'm reading the email from IATP. We've checked our back-end system, but can't find the company. Here's a list of exhibitors. Oh, great. I gotta do the math here. I'll forward this to you, Mike. Maybe it'll ring a bell with you. Short of calling each one and asking if
it's called Disinfx, DISINFX.com. Is that who you've got?
Well, she sent me the roster of exhibitors, and that's not here.
All right, I'm going to post in the feed what we're talking about here for those people that are interested. It's a handheld disinfectant fogger, so it's just turning your normal antimicrobial solution into a gas. Ashley Joe Wesley saying they're on eBay for $4,500 now. They're normally $700. So I'd probably wait on that purchase. But I mean,
did you say what company that was?
That's the name of the company, Disinfx FX. I think somebody, some of our guys that make websites in the group probably need to contact them and design them a new website. Just some industry news from my side. As some of you already know, I'm heavily involved with IAPA and on a lot of the committees and task forces and things like that. It's no surprise that the Asian show, which shouldn't really affect many of you, has been cancelled and put off till 2021. That was meant to be in June. Space allocation, so that's when all the contract exhibiting company gets placed on the show floor. That was due to be on April 21st. That has been put back a month. Well, actually, sorry, that's gone into June now. Because that's 15, there's 15 of us that get together in person. It can't really be done like this easily online. So you're not gonna, so if any manufacturers are watching, for inflatables, we will be doing space allocation starting the 18th or 19th of May. IAPA will be going ahead. I'm very, very confident about that. What IAPA looks like for our industry, I'm not so sure, but it will be going ahead. There is much more education available this year as the show has grown. And it's combined with the there's a new family entertainment center section right next to the inflatable section. So a lot of our guys in the business that float between the two industries, it's going to pay off. If anybody's watching,
I have a question, Mike. How come we can't get the party rental seminars going with IAPA? Why don't they recognize the inflatable industry as one of their largest exhibitor group for IAPA? I mean, I've been trying for 10 years to get in to be able to do a safety seminar, and they don't even respond. Right.
So on that, the things have changed quite drastically for IAPA in the last couple of years since the move of the headquarters down to Orlando from Virginia. And they do have a lot more staff now to be able to deal with that. I do know people in education and that side of it. I have more time on my hands now, so I'll follow that up. My gut instinct, and I don't want to project this onto the industry, that there's going to be space available on the show floor because they've expanded to 2 halls this year. There's going to be opportunities to my guy's trying to walk through my office. There's going to be opportunities to have seminars on the show floor if there's not available meeting rooms and schedules like that. So Yeah, I think it's important. And, I've been part of this task force and committee for 5 years now. So my voice gets louder each year as it goes by. So I'll certainly mention that. And it's maybe something we can talk about in a future chat like this, where, if anybody's got any ideas of what they want to learn when they go to IAPA, and the benefits of an IAPA membership. It's not just about getting the discounts and deals that are going to be at the show. So yeah, I can follow that up. From a manufacturer's point of view, I did want to touch upon, everybody in this industry is struggling, and I know because of the timing of this, we've come off the back of last season, and this is when all the rental companies and events companies are making the majority of their money. And the same is almost to be said for the manufacturers. This is when final payments and product is landing and being shipped out and things like that. I know of a handful of manufacturers, and Steve, I haven't spoken to you about this, but other manufacturers in our industry that have been talking, they have between $700,000 and $1.3 million worth of stock on the shelves that's coming in. And, obviously they're worried. So I don't think there's going to be these massive fire sales, because it's a knock-on effect. Our customers don't have the money either. But it's just something to consider. Why deposits are taken by manufacturers. Not that we could have anticipated this, but I want everyone to be mindful of that. Everyone's going through the same thing. Thankfully, we're not exposed as much as that, but there's some definite hurt. I don't want people to think that as manufacturers, we're up here in our ivory tower, not feeling the effects of this. So, let me just pick and see if there's any further questions, because I don't want to ramble on. We've been in this 52 minutes. If we can keep this under an hour, that would be great. So if you've got any questions, please let us know now in case we don't miss them.
Like they appear to come in like 7 or 8 at a time with a delay.
Yeah, I can't figure out this thread here.
I've got it internally on our software that we're all 4 of us are looking at. I can see, Kevin's is the last comment I can see, and that's a while ago. But I have another tab open over here with it live on Facebook, and we're up to 102 comments. So, but they keep disappearing as soon as I see them. So just bear with us a second, folks, and let's. Can you guys post ideas to market to clients? We can talk about it, Gary. It's really difficult for us to actually post anything physically when we're just chatting about things. We can give you ideas. We've already talked about discounted, extended, rentals, and even just speaking to clients and seeing how they were, making that personal connection. Michael, yes, this is a live video. As soon as we're finished, the whole thing will be able to be replayed and watched. We will be doing this again. I can't see any of the comments. I've only got 4 at a time, and they keep disappearing. So
yeah, it's weird. I don't. It's crazy.
I'm scared. I don't want to refresh this the app either. I don't want to suddenly lose everything. So. If any of you guys, Steve, Nate, Larry, if you've got anything final that you want to say, any final message or just a bullet point?
Yeah, just carry your gun and make sure that the people. I look all right. I'm a little warm though. Anyway, just make sure you carry your guns.
The guy in California is wearing a jacket.
All right.
It's a little cool today. Speaking of California, the second guy that died in California was in our hometown of Glendora, where we live. They're only 34 years old. So.
And he was at Disney World.
That's right. Is that where he contracted it in Florida? Oh shit!
So they had a huge bash the night before it all shut down.
Well,
Great.
he was extremely.
They all went to the beaches then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
extremely, coming off the back of being fighting cancer and beating it. I mean, that's a rough deal. It does highlight that, when it's your time, there's not a lot you can do. So I think, again, it kind of goes back to, this is why we need to be positive, and we will get through this. That was the other thing I did want to talk about, and it was totally unrelated to anything that us four have talked about. It was something I heard on a podcast on the way in here, that none of this is so bad that anybody should consider taking their own life or taking drastic situations. At the end of the day, this is going to sound so flippant, and I really don't mean it to sound, it's only money. It will come, it will go. There are things in place. Ending, things are not going to get that bad that you feel like you need to end it. If you are struggling, if you are isolated, we are all here to talk to you. Everybody in the comments, us four here, it is not a problem. If you are feeling lonely, if you're feeling the pressure, please reach out and speak to somebody, because this will pass, and it is not worth, the damage that you leave behind is just not worth it. So sorry to take a negative turn on that, but
well, I was in the housing industry from 03 to 08, 09, and I saw the collapse here in Phoenix, and I knew a lot of guys that it got to that point, and it seeing some of those guys now, thriving and doing better. I mean, you got to pull yourself out of that mindset.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
And talking about it helps. And this, that's what we can get from this. If just listening to us guys talk, and we're not going to pretend that we have all the answers. We're just trying to here to facilitate and create a community where we all pull together. Suddenly, I don't know if that happened for you guys, but I got
a ton of
questions
all of a sudden.
I'm just going to go through a couple of comments, and then I'll let whoever wants to pick up on them.
Well, I think, any thoughts on how long this will go from Dan? Hard to judge. I don't know. I mean, to me, it seems like if China can do this in 2 months, even though they're probably lying to us, but they can do it in 2 months. I mean, I saw a video this morning of the Wuhan market, like before this all happened. I'm telling you, like chopped up dogs and snakes and bats in a market with raw and live, and this is supposedly where it all came from. I mean, I'd never been to one of those in America. So, I mean, I'm hopeful that we can do better. I don't know. My biggest thing is we're all stubborn Americans, and, here I sit in my office, I'm not staying home. So, I mean, I'm probably part of the problem, but,
all four of us are guilty. I mean, I could have been at home today, and I have been all week. I haven't seen another soul until today. But all four of us are in our offices. Just on the Chinese thing, having traveled there multiple times over the years, it's a different way of life, and it's a different culture for the problems that it's caused that you just highlighted there, but equally for the solution. There's a lot of multi-generational homes, so kids are living with their parents and grandparents. So in terms of containment, it's a lot easier for them for that reason, that they're not thinking, I need to go check in on grandma or my parents, because they're all in the same house already. And equally, we've got to remember they're a communist state. So when the government says you stay inside, you stay inside. And again, I echo your statement there, Nate, that as Americans, and yeah, I include I have a funny accent, but I'm officially an American now. I include myself in that. Freedom is a big part of who we are. And I've had comments from people locally out of the industry that are like, well, even if we do get locked down, who's going to stop me going from, getting in the truck and going from here to there? And I think the quicker that we can shut this down, the quicker we can get back on and, start rebuilding our businesses and lives. But in terms of how long this goes on, if we knew that, Dan, we'd be very rich, I guess. What else have we got here? Because a whole Ryan Strait.
One other real quick. One other tidbit. Taxes have been moved from April 15th to July 15th, so that's going to help a lot of people also.
I don't pay those anyways, so. Kidding.
At least we can laugh. Ryan Strayhorn, I think God, tongue twister. I think hand sanitizing stations are going to be a hot rental item. To Steve and Mike, any ideas on marketing a product that would be event outdoor friendly for hand sanitizers? The Purell dispensers you buy are too flimsy and would fall over in the wind. Something that looks more carnival-like would be awesome. Don't know if we want to talk about that live, Steve, and give away our great ideas.
Well, if you have giant horseshoes, you can use the steel stand, and we can modify something there. You could bolt one to the side of your high striker or dunk tank.
Well, I was going to say, high striker and a twister display. The dunk tank's full of hand sanitizer. It's going to be the hot ticket item this year, guys. That is for sure. Kieran Knight, thanks for hosting this. We've had some luck cleaning in front of our customers. Just a simple multi-surface disinfectant. To support that, we reached out to a brand and agreed to promote their brand to install user confidence. Sanitized in partnership with insert brand here. It's been well received. That's interesting. I like that. The cleaning in front of the customer is always helps. But sponsoring your cleaning effort as well, that's some forward thinking right there. I like that. Social media, Pamela Korsner, social media engagement is one way you can help when things bounce back. Yeah, picking up on what we talked about, social media is going to be super important. But equally, I think the human connection is going to be important. And if, I don't know, you tell us in the comments, is it helpful? I know a lot of you already know who we are and you've met us before, but putting a face to the name instead of just a company logo, maybe consider that. Maybe doing something similar. You don't need 4 people on like we're doing here, but maybe do something similar with your local page, or team up with, a restaurant owner that's closed, or an event center, and pull together and create an event so people can put a face and make you human, so that play upon that sympathy. Kevin Waging again. Coloring sheets to preschool or elementary school. Most people are homeschooling now because of the close of school. So that was another marketing idea. I think we've kind of answered this one already. Ashley J. Wesley, how has the rental market recovered during other downturns? Nate touched upon that. I think from our experiences, both as a rental company and a manufacturer, when times get tough, people want to enjoy themselves. So I wouldn't be too worried. What you need to concentrate on now is getting through this time. Howard Cutler is enjoying a great staycation. He's loving the time off. Otherwise, he'd be on a cruise. So, each to their own, I guess. I wouldn't want to be stuck on a boat anytime soon, Howard. I think that is it. Posting. Okay, Judge Schultz. Posting day-to-day things on social media gets people focused on your page. Yeah, updates, make it real, make it personal. It doesn't always have to be about pushing product, seeing how people are. All right, I think we've exhausted everything. We've been going on now for an hour and 4 minutes. Thank you so much for signing in. Thank you to all our guests. We will be doing this again. If there's anything that you want to hear about or talk about or have any questions, this post isn't going away. You'll be able to rewatch the whole video. There's just something that's jumped in just there. Has anything come to the change.org online petition for the event industry? I know that you posted that, Nate. Have you had an update on that or anything?
I just reposted it. I mean, it's got almost 300,000 signatures now.
Wow.
You know, I don't know that you know, it's going to run across Trump's desk or anything like that. But at the same time, I think, you know, it really demonstrates to people and to me, and it heartens me to know that there is a community behind all of us. I think we tend to all be pretty fragmented and kind of scattered all over the place. You know, we don't have a really strong lobbying group. We don't have a presence in DC necessarily. You know, you got the American Rental Association, but you know, it's nothing like, you know, some of these other larger industries, not like the hotels and airlines and stuff like that. You know, it's just nice to know that there's a community of small business owners who are going through the exact same thing as we are. It's, you know, it's crazy right now. So it's good to know that there's other people in the same boat. So just reach out, and you know, if anybody needs anything, just message me in Facebook or something. I mean, it's just one of those things where you never want to make someone feel like they're alone in this, and want to do something that
Exactly.
is bad, is tragic. So
I think that brings up a good point. I know that IAPA does advocacy days, and they actually get members. So if you all attend the show and you're not a member, first off, you're paying too much to get into the show. I know we all get tickets from manufacturers, but as manufacturers, we have to have a membership to the association, and they do advocacy days where they get a bunch of people from in the industry and they go to DC and they knock on those doors and speak to their representatives. So maybe it's something we can pull together and make sure that we have a bit of a stronger presence. You know, speak to the ARA, but there already is an avenue through IAPA. If anybody has questions on that, then yeah, get in touch with me. I can put you in touch with people at IAPA. But with that being said, I think the final comment that's just come in is quite an apt one from my mother. She says, Kate Winkup, Larry, it's cocktail time.
Love it. Wine for you, Mom. Wine for you.
So thank you all for signing on. We'll do this again, and you'll get a notification if anybody's interested in participating, and we'll try and mix this up and get more people involved. We'll try not to go on for more than an hour next time. We'll try keep it concise and get an agenda, but we took a decision as a group to kind of wing this one, and we think it's gone well. So yeah. So any final words, guys, before I shut this thing down?
Thank you, Mike, for hosting. You did a great job.
Yep. Remember to stay positive. Don't get depressed.
Keep going.
Keep talking to people. Everybody in the industry will talk and give you their advice and their opinions. But reach out to the people that want to help, that are reaching out a helping hand. Don't buy into the negative. There's positive on every aspect of what we experience on a daily basis. You know, take the positive. Let the crap stay on another shelf.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Fantastic. Nate, anything, or you've said a lot, but
wake up every day, be thankful that you're awake and alive, and get out of bed and do something productive every single day. Otherwise, 2 weeks of sitting inside will kill you.
Yeah. Keep moving forward, guys. Keep active, and we'll do this again. So we'll speak to you then. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good weekend, everybody.